Hi, Land and Road Leopard artists. This is a video review of virtual e-learning where I taught live on a Teams meeting. This way you can see what we did if you had Wi-Fi trouble, or if you just want to rewind and review and catch up, or if you want to do this again. You're going to need some paper. I have a piece of computer printer paper, but any paper is fine. Notebook paper, construction paper, even the back of a CVS receipt is paper. Use the paper that you have available. You need a drawing tool. It can be an ink pen, it can be a pencil. You also need a straight edge. A straight edge is usually a ruler, but if you don't have one, use a fake ruler, like the back of your notebook. This can be a straight edge for you. A fake ruler is just a way to draw straight lines. We're not going to measure, so we just need something to help us keep our lines straight. You can, if you have them, get some coloring equipment. I would not use paint or oil pastels on this project, just because there'll be some tiny spaces that'll be very hard to color with those two art materials. But don't worry, if you don't have coloring materials and tools, you don't have to use them. You can use your pencil or your ink pen to shade and shadow. What's gonna happen next is gonna seem like an earthquake. I'm going to turn my camera so that you can see the paper and see me draw tricky tracks. This is an optical illusion that helps us review line and shape. Optical means eyes, illusion means trick. So we are gonna draw something that looks really difficult, but it's not. So forgive me for the earthquake action with the camera. I apologize. I know it's kind of crazy. And I'm gonna double check that you can actually see my paper. There we go. I'm gonna use my straight edge, and I have a pencil and an eraser handy. It doesn't matter though. As long as you have a drawing tool, you'll be in great shape. I want you to choose about the middle of your paper. If it's a little too high, that's fine. If it's a little too low, that's fine. Just get close with your straight edge, and you're gonna draw a line right across the middle. If you haven't used a straight edge before, this is great practice because you will definitely need to use a ruler in school. Now, you can see, hopefully, my line about in the middle. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. You can put a polka dot, please. Hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna lift it up. Your polka dot's going to be your vanishing point. We are gonna draw some tricky tracks or tricky railroad tracks, and they are going to look like they vanish or disappear into the sunrise on that point. Next, I'm going to line up my ruler diagonally with the point and with the bottom of the page. It's going to look like I'm drawing a very big letter A. Don't forget, you can always pause this video if you need to. Hopefully that shows up well. It looks like it's pretty easily seen. I'm gonna do the very same thing, so repeat. And I'm gonna pause for a second, just so all artists can catch up. And this does look like a very strange teeter-totter at the moment. But what we're actually seeing are rails of a train track. They will be disappearing into the distance. Ooh, I smudged some of my dark pencil. Did you leopard artists see that? I'm gonna remove that smudge because I'm gonna draw something in the sky later and I don't want it smudgy. For my train track railroad ties, those are the pieces that go across the tracks. I'm going to use my straight edge again, and at first, I'm gonna line it up with the bottom of my paper. I'm gonna scoot this up for a minute so you can see that really well. And I'm gonna draw one line. I'm gonna scoot this up. I'm gonna draw another one. I'm gonna scoot it up. I'm gonna draw another one. And then I'm gonna start to make them closer together. As they disappear into the distance, they would look closer together. And you do not have to try to keep up with me. You can always pause the video, but I am going at a rate that you can watch me and then try on your own. This is lots and lots of line work. It's lots of work with a straight edge, which is gonna come in handy later. Ooh, I didn't finish that line. Leopards, watch me back up and finish that line. I got in a little too much of a hurry. I need to listen to my own advice that quality is better than quick. Don't forget, when you're all done with tricky tracks, submit what you did to Canvas. I would love to see your work at home, or if you are at a Schools Out camp, I would love to see how you problem solved your art materials and your tricky tracks. Do you see how my lines are getting closer and closer and closer? And it's starting to look like train tracks that are disappearing in the distance. My goodness, they're getting so close they look like they're on top of each other. And I'm almost to what's called the horizon line, where the sun rises and sets on the horizon. Oh my goodness, look at these tricky tracks. I bet yours are just as tricky. I've got a lot of smudges because I'm drawing really darkly so that you can see on the camera. But I do want to get rid of my smudges because I'm about to draw something else in those spaces. I want this to look like it's really going into the distance, so I'm going to put a nice hot sunrise. Actually, I think it's going to be a sunset. And I'm going to give it some really great sun rays. You are all better artists than drawing pencil sticks hanging off of a sunshine. So do not draw pencil sticks stabbed in your sun. Make some sun rays that are fat triangles or really great sun ray type flames. The sun is a ball of fire after all, but give it some nice hot details that make it really look like the sun. I'm gonna add some curvy lines between my thick curvy lines to really make this look like it's super toasty and warm. Also near my train tracks, I'm gonna add a few things in nature. I'm gonna add some pieces of grass. They will get smaller way back here. That's part of the optical illusion of making things look like they're way in the distance. If I want them to look far away, I need to draw them tiny. Maybe I want a couple trees on my horizon line. There's a nice fat little pine tree. He's next to an oak tree. Maybe there's a house far away. I'm trying to draw a little bit off of how I usually hold my pencil and paper so that the camera view is better. But it's a little bit difficult. I'm gonna add another tree over here for a little bit more balance with my house. And there's a tree next to this house. You can add trees right by the train tracks. You can even add, and when I draw trees close up, I like lots of branches because it gives me a whole big group to paint or color later. I wouldn't paint this though. These tiny spots make it too hard to stuff my paintbrush into that. You can color with crayon. You can shade and shadow with your pencil or with your ink pen even. You might add some light fluffy clouds that are hanging around while the sun's going down. You can even add marks that look like wood to your railroad ties. I'm putting a couple what are called knot holes. It's where a tree branch used to be on a board before it was made into a board and it was still a tree. It makes my railroad ties look a little more like wood, and I'm putting some scratchy lines on them too. All details you can add, but you don't have to. So our tricky tracks look like they are going on and on and on forever. But I'm sure you notice we don't have to reach our hand way back into the picture to touch the back of the railroad tracks. That's what makes it a trick. If you want to be super, super smart Pop-Tarts, you can call this project exactly what it is according to a college student. This is called 1 point perspective. So if you want to sound as smart as I already know you are, this is tricky tracks or 1 point perspective. Good luck. Submit whatever you do. If you don't get done, that's fine. You can submit an unfinished artwork. If you do get done, I would love to see what you did. And if you get done later and you've already submitted, you already know you can submit again and again and again. I'm going to start to color mine a little bit. If you want to hang around, I'll stay on camera. And if you want to submit and submit again and ask questions in between, you know you can ask questions on your submission. You can also send me a Canvas message. Good luck, artist leopards. I hope you enjoy Tricky Tracks, and I can't wait to see what you've done. Oh, and don't forget, clean up your mess when you're finished. Put everything back where it goes at your house or at your school's out camp.